Hello, and welcome to the 7th edition of the Next Man Up podcast. I'm Logan, and I'm joined as always by my good friend Jacob Roth. Jacob, say what up.
What up?
And we are joined once again by our good friend Anthony.
What's up?
And so we're going to be going through some NFL Week 9 talk with you guys today. And then we might also attach some NBA fake trades on the end of this podcast. We'll see where we're at time-wise, but yeah, Jacob, just take it away with your first thoughts on Week 9.
Yeah, so we're going to kind of just go through this week, do a quick recap of the Week 9. So, yeah, we'll start off with that Thursday night game. A couple weeks ago, this game looked like it was actually going to be pretty wild. I don't know if, Anthony, if you kind of felt the same way. But both these teams looked like pretty exciting teams to watch, and then one of them kind of fizzled out, and it kind of turned ugly. 34-17, Green Bay Packers win this one over the really kind of beaten up 49ers. So, Anthony, my biggest takeaway from this game is Green Bay is the same thing as last year. I think last year they won 12 or 13 games. I can't remember which one. But I always say that they are like the worst 13 or 12 win team I've ever seen in my entire life. And I feel like this team's the same way where their record inflates. And I don't know why that inflates, but it just does. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think their offense is definitely better. I think Lazard has been better this year. Aaron Jones has been good. Devontae Adams, always going off, per usual.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But also, I mean, 49ers literally have no one. Everybody's hurt. Like, they were without their starting wide receivers, starting running back, quarterback.
Half their D-line.
Bosa's not there. Yeah, it's just...
Yep.
It was really bad. And just, I mean, props to the 49ers for keeping it a 17-point game. I guess you could say that.
Yeah.
Also, Richie James of the 49ers, 9 receptions, 184 yards, and a touchdown. So, he might be a future star to look out for.
One could say he was the next man up. But yeah, the Packers are just also, this is a thing that I've seen, and you kind of saw it when they played the Bucs 2 weeks ago, and I can't remember, and even the Vikings a little bit, I can't remember where I heard this, but I felt like I resonated with it. It was the Green Bay Packers, if they get behind, they struggle. It's like they throw in the towel. Like Aaron Rodgers looks like he just gives up when they're down. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, definitely.
Like it's like a weird thing, and people put him in the same conversation as Tom Brady. I don't get it. We'll get to Tom Brady and his wonderful soggy body later. But moving on to the start of the Sunday games. I don't got as much on this one. Texans-Jaguars, kind of a boring AFC South matchup. Deshaun Watson, 281 for 2 touchdowns. Nothing spectacular, but one thing that is spectacular is just the pulse that the Jacksonville Jaguars have figured out on I believe it's the Pac-12 quarterbacks. Jake Luton stepping in, playing big after they lose their starter, the mustached Gardner Minshew. Just the Pac-12 underappreciated quarterbacks just step up for the Jaguars.
No, I did not. I've never even heard of him. I'm going to be honest. I've never heard of him.
He was the quarterback at Ohio State before good old Jebbia.
Oregon State?
Ohio State, Oregon State.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And they weren't too bad in the final year too.
No, and Minshew's he's from
Washington State.
Yes, I knew it was a Pac-12 team. I just was struggling to think. But anyway, nothing really. Texans were the better team and won that game. 27-25, I think. Yep, 27-25.
Yep.
Texans are beat up, but they're a lot better team than their record makes them look like. Moving on, then we got.
Ooh.
Do you disagree with that one?
Greatly disagree with that.
Really?
Their team is just not that good. Their coaching staff is awful. I mean,
who's their coach now?
Some interim coach for Bill O'Brien, because Bill O'Brien.
Okay, good.
Ruined,
Do you know his name?
Ruined.
It's Romeo Langford. I gotcha. Get gotted, boy.
Romeo Langford?
Not
What?
Romeo Langford.
was gonna say, he
Romeo
plays for
Crennel. Romeo Crennel. Romeo Langford's a gosh dang Celtic.
Celtic, yeah.
Yeah, it's Crennel. Romeo Crennel, part of the Bill Belichick coaching tree.
Okay.
He's interim head coach right now for the what's it called? Oh, the Houston Texans. I don't know.
Texans,
They
yeah.
have their talent on the roster is better than 2-6.
I have a question.
And I don't. Okay, yeah.
How good is Deshaun Watson?
He's not as good as everybody's saying.
Bottom half of the top 10.
Oh, so you said bottom half?
He needs a receiver. He can't carry a team by himself. Like, but that's also not really saying a whole lot because, like, I don't think that very many quarterbacks in the league can. Like, I think Ben Roethlisberger is an example of a guy that's kind of carrying his team with a bunch of mediocre receivers. You know what I mean? Not that Juju's not decent and they had Chase Claypool step up, but there's no guy like DeAndre
Antonio
Hopkins
Brown.
or no
Yeah.
Hall of Fame potential wide receiver. You know,
So-
as of yet, they're not playing like it yet.
A really good
Yeah.
example of that would probably be like Aaron Rodgers, right? Because he's carrying the Packers.
This is
without-
I don't like Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, okay.
This is and it's probably a hot take. I think he needs people. Cuz when he doesn't play that well when Devontae Adams is out.
That's true, but he also has Lazard and Valdez-Scantling as his receivers, which...
Oh no, those are people that he's carrying. You could argue. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mhm.
So I'd say there's 3 quarterbacks in the entire NFL right now that could carry without having good receivers. Tom Brady, which I'm going to even though this week was terrible, I'm going to still say it. Ben Roethlisberger, and then I guess you could throw Rodgers in there. You know what I mean? Like it's not it's this
yeah,
common
fair enough.
thing that quarterbacks can carry without receivers.
Can I add in
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
that? Carson Wentz of last year.
Okay.
Um,
I thought we were talking about 2020. Cuz
Yes,
he can't do that
well-
now.
he can.
What do you mean
But
he
he also-
can?
He can. The offensive line is bad. It's really bad. Okay.
Also, doesn't he have? I don't know much, but doesn't he have a tendency of not giving the ball up? Something that I've heard.
Yeah, he
You
needs
win
to
2 games
definitely
and
do
all
better
of a
at
sudden
throwing
Carson
away.
Wentz is your Lord and Savior again? You
Say
win
that
2
again?
games against the Giants by 1 and you beat
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying a quarterback who can carry the team without good wide receivers is someone like Carson Wentz. And you can look at it the past 2 years.
Okay,
Carson
off
Wentz has
that
had,
logic, I'm
nobody to
going
throw
all
to.
the way. I'm not talking about Lamar Jackson carries his team with bad wide receivers. Until he got Hollywood Brown, he had nobody. But he can't win in the playoffs. He's not carrying without receivers. He's getting his team to the playoffs without wide receivers. That's different. I know that you're an Eagles fan and the Super Bowl is something you aspire for every once in a while. But in New England, we shoot for it every year, so that's kind of the standard. This year is an exception, but that's not the point.
Yes, but you guys also had one of the best defenses in the NFL every time you guys made the Super Bowl. Or were
Is that
close.
wide receivers? And you're talking about defense. The only
Well, you're
reason
talking
you
about
have a
the team
Super Bowl ring
making
in the
the
past
Super Bowl.
20 years is because of your defense. You're saying that defense unvalidates the Super Bowl?
No, what?
Okay, I
That's
think
not
we're
what
both
I'm
just
saying.
getting confused, and our passion's
Yeah.
going to get in the way.
We-
Oh, boy.
Definitely.
Speaking of the NFC East, because we got on the Eagles tangent, the Giants and Washington played this week. And my take from this game is the Giants are not a good team. The Giants are a consistent team. Are you tracking with what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
They're not a good football team by any stretch of the imagination. But at 2-7, Daniel Jones didn't throw a pick, which is a big step for a young guy like him. 212 yards, 1 touchdown. Not anything crazy, but you go back in, let's go back 1 week when they lost to the Cowboys. 222 yards, no picks, and no touchdowns. Pretty similar stat line. An okay efficiency. Go back another week. Wait,
He played the Buccaneers before.
Okay.
Washington. He had 2
256
picks.
yards, 2 touchdowns. He threw 2 picks. But I don't think people need to hop on the Daniel Jones train. But, like, I think that that team, they get Saquon back. They find a receiver with this high draft pick they're going to get that's not Darius Slayton as your number one option. Like, they get a couple pieces on defense. I'm not saying that they're, like, one step away from being a Super Bowl contender. But this team's consistent. It looks like they're well coached for being a bottom feeder of the NFL. Oh, Anthony, you want to know where their head coach came from? Joe Judge?
Yeah, Joe Judge from the Patriots.
Yeah, I just thought I'd let you know.
No,
anyway.
I was gonna say they looked very well coached. No, for sure. And he definitely has a good set of leadership in that locker room, especially by leaving Golden Tate home because of his comments. Not a lot of coaches would do that.
No, that's a big thing to do. And Golden Tate, like, he's not your number one receiver, but he's probably your most talented offensive option without having Saquon there. Evan Ingram, you're right. I'm a potato.
I mean, he hasn't been that great either. He's been dropping balls like Nelson Aguilar for the Eagles. So
he had a pretty good week this week, though. He's on my fantasy team.
He had a pretty good week this week.
But
yeah, no.
The team looks very well coached. I mean, they've only gotten destroyed in one game, which was against a healthy 49ers team.
Which was week 1, right?
Early season. Week 3, but they still had.
So before they got super injured.
Yeah. But yeah, no, they look like a team that can be good in the future. That's for sure.
Next game, Ravens Colts. Honestly, this game was really boring. Like, Lamar Jackson, for being quote unquote electric, 170 yards in the air and 60 on the ground. Like, it's cool, but it's not great. I don't know how to feel about it.
He's definitely the best running back on their team.
J.K. Dobbins is stepping into a role. He gets kind of crappy carries, but
isn't Mark Ingram on their team too?
Yeah,
is he
he's just getting old though.
Yeah. But anyway, the Ravens are a team that are just gonna underperform. I'm like over on them. The AFC's called for me. Honestly, it's the NFC's where I'm like, the NFC is really exciting this year, but we can get into that in a different episode when we don't commit to just a recap. But yeah, so 24-10 was that final for the Ravens Colts. Did you have anything out of that, Anthony?
I just wanted to ask if you guys saw the interception that they gave for the Ravens in that game.
That was as bad as that crap. Was it the Packers Seahawks in like 2016? Like, you know the one I'm talking about? It was the back of the end zone.
Oh, yep. Like 2015, 2016.
Yeah. It just was like bad. I think it was Packers Seahawks.
It was. But
yeah,
just
anyway.
the interception they gave, it just doesn't make sense. Like, if they're going to be consistent with the rules, then how are they going to give that a pick?
I don't get it. Because that was...
what happened
exactly? Okay, so it was about... I'm trying to remember when it happened. It was at the end of the game, wasn't it? Or am I mixing stuff up?
I think it was like midway through. If you look up Marcus Peters' interception, it'll probably pull up.
I think I found it. Marcus Peters' interception, ? Is the name of the video.
Yeah. Watch that.
No, watch it. It's terrible.
Oh, wow.
They gave it an interception after reviewing.
The broadcaster seemed to agree with it.
No, but it's just like, if Dez didn't catch it...
Yeah, me looking at that, I wouldn't think that's an interception, yeah.
Because it's not. That's a dropped pass.
That is dropped. He never made a football move, and he never had full control of it while going down.
Like, he had it in his hands, but he didn't move it anywhere.
He never made a football move with it. That's a good way to put it. I wonder why that's how it's in the rules. Anyway, so yeah, now that bonanza of refs being bad at their jobs is over, Lions-Vikings. Not anything wild. Matthew Stafford was the weirdest level of what he is. Again, not great. 211, one touchdown, 2 picks. DeAndre Swift wasn't great for him either, and that's kind of who they need. But Dalvin Cook, 22 carries, 202 yards, 9.4 a carry, and 2 touchdowns. Kirk Cousins didn't lose them the game, so good for Vikings fans.
Dalvin Cook destroyed my fantasy team in week 8.
Dalvin Cook is actually the only reason the Vikings are still relevant.
He had like 46 points or something like that.
And you know what's even worse about this whole thing?
What?
I don't know the exact number they're playing Kirk Cousins. But let's look at Dalvin Cook's contract. Did he get paid? I don't think he got paid yet. Oh, he did get paid. Just kidding.
He did get paid, yep.
He's getting compensated for being an absolute unit. I think, honestly, if we were to do an updated MVP ladder, Dalvin Cook's not there because his team's bad. But, like, he's balling out.
Yeah. And
his team's not good enough.
A few weeks of injuries as well, too.
That hurts him.
But definitely in the future, possibly, if he keeps going.
You know what I'm sick of? Speaking of MVP/Best Player awards, this is so off topic. Why is Justin Fields not getting any love from the Heisman stuff? Oh, it's all Mac Jones and Trevor Lawrence. They played more games. Justin Fields is, without a doubt, the best player on what I think is the best team in college football.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this a question? You know what I mean?
Or why isn't he at least included?
Because
he should be top 3.
No, and I think he technically might be top 3, but like they're only talking about Mac.
I feel like it might be just a like automatic thing. They're just kind of excluding the Big Ten teams and the teams in Pac-12. You know, teams that aren't going to be playing as many games. But
and also, okay, we're gonna get off topic. Notre Dame fans need to stop thinking they're good. Do you know what? Everyone's like, oh, Clemson only didn't have Trevor Lawrence. No, they didn't have one of their starting guards, one of their starting defensive tackles, their starting middle linebacker, one of their starting defensive backs, and everybody's acting like all they were missing was Trevor Lawrence. Nah, bro. They were missing like 6 of their 22 starters. I'm not a math wizard, but that's a pretty decent chunk.
So if Trevor Lawrence wasn't allowed to play because he had COVID, why was he even there?
It's because he has to take multiple, like, heart tests and get, like, scanned and all of that, and I guess
it's not the ready. COVID thing. I think was over. Like, he was done with the COVID part.
Yeah, he was.
It's just like their other right. I might be high.
Yep, because they have to test for like heart conditions. You know, with the whole like procedure they put out.
Oh, okay. I didn't get that.
And it's weird because
he tested negative.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense. Because I was like, why is he there? And I saw like it showed him on the sideline, and he like had his mask off, like talking to someone right next to him. I was like, that doesn't seem like they're following protocol. But okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that'll be a matchup again in the ACC championship, and if it's not, and Clemson gets kicked out of the ACC championship for that, the world is just potatoes. Oh man. Honestly, the ACC, like, my list of the corner of shame is about to grow if people like hold that against Clemson, because your team they played a competitive team with what you guys think is a top 3 not you guys, but the world thinks is a top 3 team in college football, which they probably are, but like miss me with that. Anyway,
dude, Amir Abdullah plays for the Vikings?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Plays is a relative term. Gets paid to wear purple.
He had a 22-yard reception.
Just one, I think.
Yeah.
And he might have been on for 2 plays. He gets more time than that. I should give him more credit than that, but
if Trevor Lawrence played that game, I think they would have won by a lot.
No,
personally,
I concur. But we need to get back to NFL because we're 5 out of 1, 2, 3. A lot of games to go. Here we go. So next up, we got the Bears and the Titans. The battle of the 2 hyped up teams. The Bears have unveiled the curtain, showed their mask. They are a bad football team. Surprise.
5-4.
5-4. They started off, what was it, 5-0?
4-0, I think.
4-0, and then they lost it.
I want to say
3, and then they lost a dumb one to the Colts. Beat the Buccaneers. It was 3-0.
They were at least 3-0.
It was 3-0, and then they lost to the Colts. Beat the Buccaneers, beat the Panthers, and then they lost to the Rams again. And then lost in overtime to the Saints. Big sad. And then lost again to the Titans. Derrick Henry's a gosh darn man, but he didn't play like it this week. He wasn't anything special this week. Honestly, with how bad Tennessee played, they should be grateful they won. I mean, that's to be expected against what I think is one of the best defenses in football that's not beat up, you know? But, like...
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
like
yeah.
it just
Derrick Henry made me sad this week for fantasy.
it was what 68 yards or something like that.
Yeah, I think he had
6 points, 6.8.
3.8 points total on my.
Oh, jeez.
Maybe he fumbled or something. I don't know. I wasn't able to actually sit down and watch this game. But moving on, next game on the lineup, we've got the Carolina Panthers and the Kansas City Chiefs. A game that I did watch, not because I thought it'd be a good game, but because I knew people that were at the game. And oh boy, was I in for a treat. What a great game.
It was a good game.
The Panthers, I think, are also one of those teams. They're like the Giants,
But a lot
as in
better.
they're a good, like, yeah, but the higher quality. They're just consistent-ish. Not really, actually. I don't even know why that sentence came out of my mouth. I guess with McCaffrey back, they kind of showed what they're capable of. That defense just needs some direction.
I really like Teddy Bridgewater. I'm so glad he's doing well.
No, 100%. Obviously, you want to see all guys do good, but that one play where he like laid his body out, I'm like, oh yeah, there we go. He's feeling healthy.
Just after everything he's been through, just like definitely
Also,
one of my favorite players.
Oh, also we talked about how we were talking about quarterbacks that can carry if they don't have good receivers. One of the ones that I didn't bring up on purpose has played this game, Patrick Mahomes. I'm just curious. I would like to see him play a season where his best receivers like DeMarcus Robinson. I just want to see what happens. And when you don't have Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, McCole Hardman, and then out of the backfield, Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Le'Veon Bell. Like,
Yeah, I mean the 3 speed demons for their wide receiver core. It's just like
nobody's got the speed
it's
to
kind of
cover that.
unstoppable.
Nobody's yeah.
Literally.
But
And then Travis Kelce,
just probably the best tight end in football right now.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know why I said probably like it was a question. He is, in my opinion. I'm not doubting that. Moving on to the game that what the heck? The Seahawks and the Bills. What the actual crap? Russell Wilson, dude, I've been literally as close as I can to be like I almost said something worse. Hyping you up. And you just go ahead and Logan knows what I was going to say. And just like, yeah, you threw for almost 400 yards, but you threw 2 picks and they were dumb picks. And then Seahawks defense. I thought you were okay-ish. You let Josh Allen throw, not run.
You thought they were okay?
Not good, but not allowing Josh Allen, who's like not exactly what I would consider prolific, to throw 31 for 38 for 415 yards and 3 touchdowns good. Yeah, Logan traded away Josh Allen in his fantasy league. We'll talk about that later maybe if you want.
But he does have Kyler Murray. So
it's not going to happen again.
Kyler Murray had a better week by a little bit in terms of fantasy points. And I went up against the guy I traded Josh Allen to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I lost because Derrick Henry did not do well, and somebody on his team really popped off too. McCaffrey, that's what it was.
And McCaffrey's a good guy to get back.
McCaffrey and Metcalf. And Metcalf too.
Oh, and Metcalf got 100 of the 300 or 400 yards Russell Wilson threw. So, it was just, I don't know. Stephon Diggs had a really, really good game. I might have been like just angry raging at the Buffalo Bills for taking over the AFC so commandingly. They're a pretty good football team. They struggle when they shouldn't, and that worries me for later on. Like, I don't think the Bills will give the Chiefs a run for their money. But they're a fun team to watch, and in the future they have potential. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But, I mean, it's just when Josh Allen is on a roll, that team is very good.
No,
it's
for
just
sure.
the games where he starts playing like Ben DiNucci, where.
Oh, you mean when they lose to the what was that team? Oh yeah, the Titans, 42-16.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I think that was the score. Hold on, I
It
feel
was.
stupid.
Yep.
That's dumb. How do you do that?
I don't know. That's a good question. And yeah, Josh Allen just needs to be consistent, and that team can make it very far.
Spoopy. Okay, moving on to our next Sunday game. I think we've moved over to the afternoon as of right now. I might be wrong on that. Don't quote me. It doesn't really matter. The Denver Broncos went up against the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons came out on top this one, 34-27, and for once, they didn't blow the lead. They almost did, because they were up going into fourth. It was like, hold on, I got to do math because I'm looking because I forgot. It was, going into the fourth, they were up 27-6, and almost lost.
Yeah,
Jeez.
which Broncos had another week like that 2 weeks ago, where they had that huge comeback against the Chargers. That's who it was.
Well, the Chargers blow leads, but no,
But they were down by a lot and came back and won. I had this question because I want to be a Broncos fan. So, what do you think Drew Lock's potential is?
This is another Giants. They have so much, they're like, why are they not better? Like, I know why they're not better, but, they're, close to being better. Jerry Jeudy popped off yesterday, and he's only a rookie. KJ Hamler, I think, is he a rookie? I think so.
Yep.
I don't know about him.
Yeah, he's a rookie.
This is a young team. Granted, I've been deceived by young teams, cough, Jacksonville, that ended up just disappointing me. But, Jared Jeudy, KJ Hamler, Noah Fant led their, receiving game push. Phillip Lindsay's still pretty young, relatively. So, they've got a young team. They just need to get some more pieces. I think Drew Lock is not going to be a guy that goes out and wins you games, but I don't think he's a guy, if he gets calmed down, is a guy that'll lose you games type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense.
I'm also trying to be positive on young quarterbacks because I want the NFL to be fun when all the old guys retire. But anyway, that's beside the point.
So you think he can become a league average quarterback?
He can become an Andy Dalton.
Good Andy Dalton.
Denver. Andy Dalton is good.
Well, his prime with the Bengals. Yeah.
I don't know if he'll get that good. Andy Dalton led the Bengals to a 13-win season once. I don't know if I have that much faith in him.
Oh, well, I thought that's what you were talking about.
No, I was talking about where they kept winning 10 games and got kicked out in the playoffs every year, that era of Bengals. Not like when they were actually good, which is terrible.
Okay. Not peak Andy Dalton.
Not peak Andy Dalton, what do they call that? The rising action. The peak of the rising, right before the peak of the rising action, and right before this hard decline on the falling action. If it was a good book,
Okay.
That's a stupid
Fair.
analogy. Also, Matt Ryan's a potato.
Yeah. Also, that Broncos defense is missing Von Miller, so you don't want to forget about that either.
Boy. Yeah, can't forget about that because that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Think how bad the Rams defense would be without Aaron Donald. That'd be terrible.
Yeah.
Moving on. I'm so sad. I love Justin Herbert so much. He was so pretty efficient, 28 for 42, 325, 2 touchdowns in the air, no picks, and they still lost. It's so sad.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's so sad. But good for the Raiders, 31-26. Raiders came back. They were up early, then the Chargers kind of surged, and then they closed the gap and ended up winning. Was it a walk-off touchdown? I need to do a better job.
No. The Chargers got a touchdown reversed at the end of the game.
That's what the question mark was. Which, this one was the right call and just a great defensive play.
Definitely.
He didn't turn his head, but we're getting nitty-gritty, and refs probably don't even look for that anymore because they're potatoes. Anything else you have about that game? I still have my man crush on Justin Herbert. So
I think the Raiders can definitely be a good team. It's just they got to sharpen up.
See, and I wish that I got as excited about the AFC as the NFC, but I don't because of stupid freaking Kansas City. They're just better than everybody by so much. It's not a question in the AFC who's going to come out unless some wild stuff happen. Sure, the Raiders beat them, but you really think that they're going to let that happen again? No, is the answer in my opinion.
Definitely not in the playoffs.
Also, the AFC East shall rise again. Oh yeah, baby. The Dolphins upset the Cardinals 34-31. Tua proved me wrong, which is something I always like to see when I think somebody's going to be bad and they're good, unless they're playing the Patriots. Tua Tagovailoa, 20 for 28, 248, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 35 yards on the ground. Nice. Also, fun fact, Kyler Murray rushed for 100 yards that game.
Wow.
That's why Kyler Murray matched Josh Allen, because he threw for almost 300 and 3 touchdowns and ran for 106 and 1 touchdown.
Yeah.
Wait, Larry Fitzgerald is a junior?
Oh, his father is a senior.
I didn't know. I'm so dumb.
I didn't know that until now either, but I thought you were talking about I was like, is this college now? What are we talking about?
No, I was talking about how his name has a junior at the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins, who's also on my fantasy team, really disappointed.
Didn't do well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Christian Kirk decided to be the star for their team.
No.
Yeah.
I'll never forget when I was talking through with Logan the receivers for I think Kyler will do well because, and I said DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk, and then out of all the names I remembered, instead of Larry Fitzgerald, I remembered Andy Isabella, who had 2 catches for 10 yards yesterday. Or not yesterday, Sunday. But yeah, that was a great game. It was a fun game to watch. Good on the Dolphins, 5-3. Also very well head coached. Guess where that man came from? New England, baby, Brian Flores.
No, I always liked Flores. I
always have. Last year, I don't blame Flores for. I think the front office was tanking, and Flores was like, "I can't win when you just keep trading away my best players." Actually, one of those trades was Minkah Fitzpatrick, which is a perfect segue. The Steelers, only undefeated team left in football, struggle busing against gosh darn Garrett Gilbert and the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I don't think that team's legit.
The Steelers?
Mm-mm.
I view them in a very similar light as the Packers.
Yeah.
More well-rounded than the Packers, but a team that's inflated record-wise just because of how they've gotten the dice. Like, they played the Giants week 1, the Broncos week 2, the Texans week 3. They beat up on a booty team as the Eagles week 4. They
barely beat us. Okay.
11.
But those first few 4 games, that sounds really easy.
Well, and then then they finally played real teams. They've caught the Browns with their pants down, 38-7. Barely beat the Titans in a really good game. Barely beat the Ravens, and the Ravens I think are dramatically overhyped because of just Lamar Jackson, which is somewhat deserved, but not all of this way deserved. They barely beat the Cowboys. This team hasn't gone out and punch somebody in the nose.
It sounds like they haven't played very big games either yet.
It's kind of what New England was last year. They were on track to have the best defense statistically of all time, and then they played a real football team that wasn't the Bills struggling with Josh Allen and the Jets. You know what I mean? When you play real, this week is when we'll really see them get the meat grinder. Best team they've played all year, the Bengals. I'm just kidding. We probably won't see what the Steelers. Oh my! The Steelers have the easiest schedule of all time.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
This is their final 8. Bengals, Jaguars. They have to play the Ravens again. Washington, the Bills. The Bills is probably the hardest game on their schedule.
Including the Ravens?
Yeah. No, the Bills is by far the hardest game on their schedule. But they literally wrap up with the Bengals twice, the Jaguars, Washington football team, and then the Colts.
Wow.
And then they wrap up with the Browns again at the end of the year.
Yeah.
This team's schedule is so easy.
Yeah, that does sound really easy.
They're going to be 16-0 in the playoffs and then get just absolutely raffle stomped in the AFC Championship by the by the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I think they're losing next week.
To the Bengals?
I think Joe Burrow is...
Dude, Anthony, we have never agreed on a hot take in our entire lives, but gosh darn do I agree with you on this one.
Dude.
Joe Burrow isn't on... I don't have the same level of man crush on him as I do Justin Herbert, but Joe Burrow is good football. Bengals are not good football, but Joe Burrow is good football.
Yep.
Dang, that's a great take, Anthony.
So you think they beat The Steelers.
Oh yeah.
I think so. Dude,
What's the Bengals' record right now?
2-5-1.
Okay.
You know what they did
Solid
though?
case.
You know where they got that one?
Well, from who?
The Eagles, yeah.
Oh, it was.
I'm just kidding. That was a good game, and I think this Bengals team is greatly improved by their one draft pick. So good for them.
So
Yes.
you're adding Joe Burrow to that list of quarterbacks that can carry a team.
No, actually,
Well, no, he has a really good receiving core. He has a good receiving.
Oh
core.
yeah, no, yeah,
he's got
I knew that actually.
AJ Green. He's
Bengals
got
just don't have a line.
T.
Oh,
Higgins, Tyler Boyd, all
What's-
good options.
what's his tight end's name? It's not Eifert. It's Ugas. Hold on.
He just doesn't have any time to throw to them. Is the problem, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
yeah.
it's Drew Sample. Oh, I don't even know.
Mhm.
I don't even know what I was thinking.
No, but they beat the Titans. They just beat the Titans. Before their bye week, they beat them by 11. The Bengals did. And the Steelers barely got away from the Titans. So
Okay, that's a
I
fair
just-
assessment.
they couldn't
No.
beat a depleted Cowboys team by a lot.
No, Joe Burrow's gonna come out
If
slinging.
you're gonna be a certified best team in the NFL, you have to expect them to beat them by 20 plus.
Tweet it
Dude,
out here. Go ahead.
I hear like such different things from you guys than I hear from like the small amount of NFL talk that I like get from podcasts and stuff.
Me and Anthony.
It's so backwards.
We give Anthony. I give Anthony a lot of crap for hot takes, but I also have quite a few hot takes.
Yeah, like the stuff I just hear
Granted-
all about like Pittsburgh's one of the best teams in the NFL, the most balanced team.
That I
well-rounded
can agree
team.
with that they're balanced. I just don't know if they're
definitely
good.
balanced.
They're balanced.
And then I hear like stuff like about Tua that he was the most surefire like success pick, like a guy that you know is going to
What?
be really good in the NFL
What?
until he had his injury.
Okay.
And that's really the only
Dude,
reason
he's
why.
literally like 5'2". What are you talking about? I'm not saying that short quarterbacks can't be good, but there's no guarantee. Who do you listen to?
That's-
Max Kellerman? Like what
No,
is
actually,
that?
Bill Simmons actually said that. Which, he seems to have a really strong affinity for Tua.
Probably because he doesn't want
but-
them to. He's 6 foot. Okay, he's not as short as I thought. But like,
Yeah, he's taller than Russell Wilson.
but Russell Wilson is literally like a freak, once in a generation exception.
But I guess, but that's how Bill talks about Tua as well, and
Oh
I've heard
my-
other people talk about him like that too.
I'm high on Tua, but not that high. I'm like Jake
Yeah.
Chillin. They've gone through like 4 bowls. If I don't
So-
know, I don't know weed talk, but they're just high as
So,
can be.
does this week though change your mind at all on him for, I guess, how you rank or grade the Dolphins in the draft?
I thought they had a very good draft.
Oh, how their draft went?
Yeah.
I think their draft was dumb because they could have taken Justin Herbert, who's also playing
Okay.
super well.
Yeah.
It worked out for him. You know what I mean? Like, I think that
It's kind of like Doncic versus Trae Young in a way.
well, technically,
like,
every single
it worked.
there's 198 draft picks that were wrong in the 2000 NFL draft because they didn't take Tom Brady off that logic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I mean, like the Hawks could have had Doncic, but the mistake they made was picking somebody else. But the guy they picked is also really good.
Solid.
Just not exactly the same.
Yeah. I like that, actually.
Yeah.
That's a good comparison. So, yeah, Steelers, butt cheeks. Okay, this was the game that I was so excited for. I was like, I'm going to clear up my Sunday night. We're on a Sunday Night Football. Let's do this. Let's see this. Little did I know that this would be an absolute garbage fest. So, it's the Saints versus the Bucks. The Saints win 38-3,
Oh my-
and Anthony worded it better than anybody I've ever heard. This is the worst game of Tom Brady's entire career. Like, also, I'd like to point out, you guys want to know how many rushing yards the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had that game?
Like
8.
12?
8.
8?
They attempted to
wow.
run the ball 5 times, one of those being via Blaine Gabbert, and they rushed for 8 yards.
Yeah.
What? Well, no doubt you're going to lose a game 38-3, and that 3 came in the 4th quarter. Jameis Winston got to throw a pass.
Why did Fournette only run once?
Because he's a little fragile baby child.
I think Bruce Arians is a very overrated coach.
He's only a quarterback guy. That's literally all he can do. And you don't need a quarterback whisperer when you have Tom Brady.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be whispered to. His potential has been unlocked since, like, 2005. Like, you don't need to keep unlocking more. There isn't more. It's honestly a miracle he's still, like, he's actually starting to look old this year. But that's beside the point. So we saw probably the worst game that Tom Brady will ever play. 3 picks, 200-something yards, 209 yards. So, yeah, that was an ugly game. Saints,
Yeah.
not my favorite to win the NFC still. They're too inconsistent. They look like absolute sheiks, and then they look A-tier. Like, I don't know what to do.
Yep, definitely.
Honestly, I still think my
wait.
favorite is the Seahawks even after this week. But, Anthony, what were you saying, man?
Antonio Brown
Okay.
first came back. That's what I was excited about. I wasn't excited about the game. I was excited about Antonio Brown being back.
Antonio Brown is a curse.
And he did all right. He got 3 receptions, 31 yards in his first game back. And, you know, I have him on my fantasy team.
And his team lost by 35.
But Antonio Brown looks like he can be a weapon in the future. And that's what I'm happy about.
Who would have saw that
So-
coming? Literally the best wide receiver in football comes back after not playing for a year and a half. 2 years, whatever it is. That was sarcastic and rude. But he did have an okay game.
Yeah.
And that concludes Sunday football.
Monday night.
And on to the game I thought I was going to dread talking about, and I still do. Monday Night Football. Patriots sitting at 2-5 against the 0-8 Jets. And this one was spooky for a while. Joe Flacco was looking like elite Joe Flacco again, if that ever existed. It just was spooky. So pretty much what happened is Patriots went into the fourth quarter. They were down 20-27. J.C. Jackson had a nice pick. And then Cam Newton turned that into a touchdown after a... Okay, also, I don't know if you guys have... Jacoby Myers is a guy that I've been high on since he joined the team last year in training camp. Big Jacoby Myers fan. I wanted him to get more time. He's kind of like a Philip Dorsett, if anybody knows who that is. He went off. Like, my boy came out showing I am an NFL football player. Grr. 12 receptions, 169 yards. Bang, baby. I'm excited because all the, like, one thing that's weird is the Patriots only had, like, 5 guys catch the football. How weird is that for the Patriots?
Very weird.
It doesn't feel right. Anyway, but they got that last second touchdown, kick the field goal. Great day to be alive. Great day to be a Patriots fan. Move on to 3-5. Not gonna lie, I would have kind of not liked to lose, but you know Trevor Lawrence is a pretty good quarterback, as well as a certain BYU quarterback by the name of Zach Wilson. Okay, Anthony. Wow.
It's just my take.
You don't think he's that good?
I don't think he's that great.
Why? Because he doesn't have ginger hair and he's not from North Dakota State?
No. It's that he doesn't play in the good conference. Or he doesn't play good teams. They're independent. But, like, who's the best team they played? BYU?
Anthony? I'm going to refer back to the ginger that went to North Dakota State. That your team took with the what overall pick?
Number 2.
That's my thing is some guys, if you watch him, he's just that good. I genuinely think that. I think Zach Wilson's legit. But we can talk about that some other time. That wraps up our Week 9. Anthony, any other things you would like to throw in? You can trash on the Patriots. I do it on the Eagles all the time.
They suck.
I think we have a lot of things that are missing, but you know what's really funny? We don't have to go out and draft those players because they just opted out this year for COVID. So we get one of the best offensive guards in football back. We get, I think, is a really good middle linebacker in Devontae Hightower. We also get I don't think he's a good safety. Patrick Chung. We get Patrick Chung back, and all the pieces will be coming together. Joke's on you guys. Trevor Lawrence is a Super Bowl champ next year. We're in a New England Patriots jersey. And that concludes football talk.
What were your thoughts on the Husker football game this past weekend against Northwestern?
Well, I don't really want to talk about it, but I have 2 words. Luke. Is his name Lucas? Lucas? Hold on. Maybe it's 3 words.
You're looking at his middle name?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to address him properly. Oh, I think his actual name was just Luke. What, you don't have your middle name on your Wikipedia? What kind of weirdy are you? Okay, Luke McCaffrey. I just would like to see more Luke McCaffrey.
Yes. I think he should start next game.
I don't want to just poop on
100%.
Adrian and give up on Adrian because I think that I don't want to say the play calling was bad because
year.
I don't get paid $7 million to call plays. I just think that the thing that I'm worried about is if McCaffrey takes over, I feel like Adrian is a big locker room presence, and I don't want to lose that, but I don't want to sacrifice my happiness for a good football team in 2 years. I don't want to sacrifice any happiness. I want a good football team now. But I would like to point out the drive that McCaffrey was in. The team looked good. I think Adrian can get to that level. He's just in his head way too much, and I trust that Frost is the guy that will know the time to pull the trigger when Adrian's not going to get out of his head and he wants to go out and win football games. Because you know what I'm really scared about? Wisconsin dropped out, and the Big Ten said that there'll be a play, so you'll have the championship game, then there'll be a 1-2, a 2-3, or a 3-4 matchup, a 5-6 matchup, so on and so forth. I'm worried that since Wisconsin if they miss this next week, is banned from the championship game, if they also get banned from that extra play-in game, and then they'll just decide randomly, we think Wisconsin would have been about this good, Nebraska doesn't get to play the extra game. If that happens, we leave the Big Ten. I didn't want to get into it. I'm going to get really mad if I talk about the game. So that is all. Anthony, do you have any takes while I go calm myself down?
Yeah, I think Luke McCaffrey should be the starting quarterback next week against Penn State. And he just reads the field a lot better than Martinez and actually throws it to our wide receivers that we have instead of throwing it to a 6'8" tight end who can't jump. But I really like Luke McCaffrey. I think he's the better quarterback and the better player for the team. So
the only thing that I will come to the defense of Adrian, when you look at what McCaffrey's drive was, it was a team running a cover 2 super basic defense with nothing special. That's a lot easier to read than what Adrian had to deal with, but that is the only defense that I will have. Thank you.
Okay, so fair enough. That's I think that's it for our football talk, right?
Yeah. Let's move.
Okay.
Let's get on to the basketball.
Cool.
You've got trades or something for us, right?
Yes, yeah. So with basketball stuff, NBA, the season is basically officially now starting December 22nd, and the draft is happening November 18th. So I think we should also, do some draft stuff in an episode. I'd also be fine with, doing that live stream that we talked about, reacting to the draft.
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know
sure.
if you guys were in on that,
Oh,
but yeah.
100%.
Okay. So with the NBA season starting up soon, I did have some fake trades that I mocked up to just basically talk about. All of the money and contract stuff works on these. I did the math, and I basically just wanted to bounce these off of my friends, Jacob and Anthony here. And so the first player that I made some trades for is Chris Paul, who has been a very hot topic in this department for a while now, 2 summers in a row. So the 3 trades that I have mocked up for him, though, I decided to do teams that aren't as super popular, that you're hearing a lot about for a Chris Paul trade. But that kind of failed because a lot of news actually came out today about this first team.
The Suns.
when they didn't have much noise about them before, but that is the Suns. So I thought I was being clever with this one, but I guess it actually might come to fruition. But yeah, so that is Phoenix would receive Chris Paul, and OKC would receive Rubio, Oubre's expiring, and a first-round pick. What do you guys think of that
Okay, hold on.
I love it.
for the Suns?
Yeah, I think that would be so good. That team
Okay, my thing is
would look great and be fun to watch.
that would be fun to watch. Sam Presti would agree to it because he's getting way better value out of it.
Yeah.
The thing that
He's getting-
I don't know is, do the Suns think they're in win now mode or something?
In this Western Conference, they probably shouldn't be thinking that.
But this would be a move to try to move into win now, is my thinking. You know what I mean? And I don't know if this team takes themselves
I should've-
seriously enough.
Yeah, no, I definitely should have prefaced this with that. This is definitely the most out of that conversation team that I have on here, just because I
Okay.
feel like for a Chris Paul trade to happen, it should be to a place that's a contender, especially
You
for
got a Mavericks Chris Paul trade? We can talk about that if it comes up. Don't even. Okay, ignore.
But yeah, so Phoenix is definitely probably the farthest away from championship contention out of these three teams. But it is something that I thought was really interesting, just because I think his fit alongside Devin Booker
No, it'd be
would
really
be
good.
really good for
Really good.
That just for Phoenix basketball in general.
I think it'd be like
Yeah.
what they try to do with Harden and him, but it will actually work.
Yeah,
I mean,
for
not
sure.
saying that Chris Paul, James Harden didn't work, because it took the Warriors that were like unstoppable looking to 7. But
Yeah, but Devin Booker is one of the best. Honestly, one of the best shooting guards that's like a superstar at playing off ball
Yes.
in the NBA.
there's
and
another
that's
guy.
because
But
he grew up that way. You know, in college when he played in Kentucky, he wasn't a guy who had the ball in his hands in college,
Mm-hmm.
and so he's used to playing that way. And this season, getting a point guard like Rubio on the roster, you could see how much that did for him.
Yeah.
Having another primary ball handler and him, being able to play off ball did a lot for this Phoenix team. So I think Chris Paul would just juice that up to a whole nother level.
for sure, I look at it as kind of like him and Clay are like a league of their own
Yeah.
in terms of
For
guys
sure.
that can be off.
Oh yeah, I should have included Clay in that too. Yeah.
You didn't really say names, or you said he's like one of the best, and I think Clay's the only guy that might have him. And it's honestly might have him beat, because obviously we all hope that like people come back just as good as they were before, because that's just good basketball. But like we don't know how Clay's gonna come out of it. So
Clay is like the ideal off-ball guard
Yeah.
in league history, basically. He doesn't need to dribble to score 60 points in a game.
and he plays defense. It's just beautiful. Anyway,
Yeah. Anyways, so the second trade that I have on here is more so of a contender. It's basically a ladder. It's going to go, this is the lowest team, this is like the medium team, and the next one's even more of a contender. But this team is Utah. And I haven't heard any buzz about a Utah trade, but I think this would be very interesting. And it would be, so Utah would receive just Chris Paul, OKC would receive Conley's expiring, and 2 first-round picks. What do you guys think of that one?
this one I think is even less likely to actually happen, because
Yeah.
I definitely think the Jazz don't think they're in win now mode because of how young what they're building around is. You know what I mean? Gobert's a little bit older, but like I don't think they're building around Gobert. I think Gobert's just there, and they're building around Mitchell, and he's really young.
Yeah, I mean, he's the same age as Devin Booker.
But
Isn't he?
but-
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Also, I guess I forget, who did the Jazz not have in the bubble?
Bogdanovich, who's 30,
Yep.
32,
Not
33.
age-wise, but I was like, I just feel like the Suns are like have a higher upside than the Jazz, but I forgot they didn't have their
really?
second best scoring. I forgot they didn't have their bubble basketball is
okay.
the last thing I've watched. I forgot they didn't have like their number 2 option in the bubble. You know what I mean?
No, they were the 6th seed, and they were up in the 3rd to 4th seed area for most of the regular season.
Yeah, it's just I
They're
forgot
a really
they
good
lost
team
there.
this year.
Bogdanovich.
Yeah, they just work really well. They have for a while at winning games, just because they have a defensive engine around Gobert, and then they have an offensive engine around Donovan Mitchell.
Well, I think
Regardless of how those guys get along off the court, they get along really well on the court. So
Well, and even then, I feel like it'd be kind of the same thing that they had the year before when they had Rubio. So it's kind of like doing the same thing, just saying, yeah, Chris Paul's a better Rubio, and nobody's gonna be like, no, he's not, because he just.
I think Chris Paul's more of a better Conley. Because Conley's
Does more.
provides a lot more shooting
Yeah.
than Rubio does, and Chris Paul would provide that shooting as well. And also, I think in a late game situation, there's not a whole lot of names that you would say before Chris Paul of guys that you want the ball in his hands in a late game playoff situation. So having a guy like that, what?
6 syllables. Carmelo Anthony. I'm just kidding. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, with that though, late game situations, wouldn't they want it in Mitchell's hands?
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is they have more options instead of just
If
Mitchell closing games.
Yeah.
Teams can't just like triple team Mitchell. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this way they have, I think, better game management. You know, Conley's always been like, I'd say at his peak, above average starting point guard, but he's never been like a star, you know? And he's basically just came off of his peak. Last season was one of his best seasons in the NBA, meaning his last season with the Grizzlies, not this past season with the Jazz.
Okay.
But yeah, with the Jazz, it wasn't very pretty. He dialed it up more towards the end in the playoffs, but I just think what they were able to accomplish this year, even without Bogdanovich forcing a Game 7 against the Nuggets, having an amazing offense that whole series, I think swapping out Conley for Chris Paul in that same situation, running it back and adding Bogdanovich as well
would be huge.
Would be really huge. So, anyways, I guess you guys didn't like that one quite as much, but the third one is a little bit of a reunion. It's to the Clippers. Chris Paul would be sent to the Clippers. So the Clippers would receive Chris Paul, Dennis Schroeder, and Mike Muscala. And OKC would receive Harrell, Lou Williams, Patrick Beverly, JaMychal Green, and Landry Shamet.
Oh wow!
Wow, that's a big trade.
That's a big boy.
Yeah. What do you think about that one?
That's like getting rid of the identity of the Clippers.
Yeah.
That's my only thing.
It's getting rid of Harrell and Lou Williams, who were really two of the biggest reasons that 3-1 comeback happened. At least, Doc Rivers not playing them less minutes, because defensively they were just weak points that were just giving up way too many points. They were kind of being targeted in pick and roll situations over and over again. And also Lou Williams has shown to be, honestly, one of the largest fall-offs from, like, in terms of production from regular season to playoffs.
Yeah.
And in his whole career, it's been that way. And this is a team that is trying to win a championship, so maybe you don't want to keep around a guy like that. And also Patrick Beverly, he's good for what he did for them last season, being a 3-and-D guard. But who else is a 3-and-D guard is Chris Paul. And also what Chris Paul can do for you is create and run the pick and roll and do that kind of stuff, which Lou Williams is really their only ball handler from the guard position that was kind of capable of that last season. And that is a lot of what the talk has been around what Kawhi has said that he wants coming into this next season, is he wants a point guard on his team that can initiate offense.
Yeah.
So obviously Chris Paul would be a great choice for that. And then also I think what you're giving up with Lou Williams on the offensive end of the floor, being that spark plug scorer off the bench, you're really replacing with Dennis Schroeder. And Schroeder is not a weak spot on defense at all. He's actually a plus on the defensive end. So I think that's a pretty good trade-off. And then Mike Muscala is just kind of what you have with JaMychal Green. Obviously a little bit different, probably not quite as good as JaMychal Green, but he's a stretch 5. And he might see some minutes in certain matchups. But I think that'd be a good trade for both teams, especially the Clippers, in my opinion.
I don't know. You talked me into that one a little more.
Yeah, definitely.
And now that with Doc Rivers gone, I think it could actually it's more likely to happen than not. You know what I mean? Because I don't know, but I've always gotten the vibes that that wasn't a great ending of the.
Yeah,
interaction
Also,
with
I
one
think-
another. That's like
I think. Sorry, keep going.
when the coaching rumors for the Clippers was like, oh, Steve Ballmer's just gonna throw money at everybody and like he's gonna offer Pop a deal. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know, but like I feel like Popovich and Kawhi might not be the best of pals. Like they might not hate each other, but like I don't know if Kawhi would want to play for Pop again or vice versa.
Yeah. I also think this trade though it accomplishes like the situation that they have with who closes games for them at the center position between Harrell and Zubats. I think in the playoffs, Zubats pretty much proved that. I think he has a really good case for that. Being that spot at the center position, closing the games, and you basically fix your problem by trading away the guy that he's in competition with, and getting a stretch five in return with Mike Muscala. Also, there's plenty of bigs in this free agent market this season that they can sign with the mid-level exception, which is I think they are keeping the cap they announced at the same as last season. So all the numbers are going to be the same. So the mid-level is going to be $9.3 million. So there's going to be some guys they can get in that range to play backup center minutes if they need it. So I think Zubats is a good guy for what they want to do going forward. He's not a super talented offensive weapon in any way, but he's a guy that can be big for you, get rebounds. Basically, what the Celtics need.
In one of my 2K 16 my leagues, Zubats turned to like a 95 overall. I don't know what I did.
Really?
I don't remember
my
changing
gosh.
sliders. Like I don't know if like 2K randomly blesses one guy with like the ability to become a genius, but Zubats
Yeah.
was goated. I sent him to camps every year. That's probably what it was.
Yeah, no, he's just a good throwback, like old style, traditional bruiser type of center that goes really well with those guys that they have there with Kawhi and Paul George being two-way wings that can create shots from any spot on the floor.
I also still don't know his first name. It starts with an I. That's all I.
Ivan.
Ivica.
Ivica?
Ivica.
Yeah. Ivica Zubats. Yeah. Anyways, we'll move on from that one. I think that's my favorite one out of all of them. Just in terms of the Clippers trying to get better. For OKC's side though, if I was Sam Presti, I think I would like the Phoenix trade the most of what I'm getting back.
Yes, I concur.
So, anyways, we'll move on to the next player, which I only have. Actually, no, I have 3 trees for him too, but it'll go down with some of the other players. So Bradley Beal is the next guy I have, which there's been news coming out about him as well. Him saying that he is doubling down on his statements of he wants to stay in Washington for this season. Especially, he's saying the main reason is because John Wall is coming back and looking better than ever, in his words. So, I don't really see John Wall coming back from an Achilles tear, being the same player he was, especially with his play style. But
Maybe he'll Blake
I guess we'll
Griffin
see.
it. He'll just turn into
What?
He'll Blake Griffin it and turn into a different player.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
doubt that.
they've been saying though, he was playing some pickup games against Kyrie and some other people in California, and he was hitting threes,
That's
pretty
That's what I was
consistently
thinking.
apparently.
He is doing
That's
a
what I was
Blake
thinking
Griffin,
in my head.
pulling a 180.
Yeah, I mean, if John Wall is hitting threes, I guess that's a totally different kind of player. So we'll see what happens. But anyways, this is assuming a Bradley Beal trade does get done, which I still feel like is probably a 50-50 for the season to happen, before the deadline. But the first trade I have on here is one that has tons of hype around it. It's probably the most common mock trade that you'll see for Bradley Beal, and that is for Karis LeVert and Spencer Dinwiddie to Brooklyn Nets. Straight up, just those two for Bradley Beal.
Straight
What do you
up,
guys think
really?
about that? Yeah,
I feel like you're gonna need more to get Bradley Beal.
really? Then
Mhm.
LeVert and Dinwiddie.
I think so.
I don't know actually.
So, picks or what?
I would say a pick, first round
Yeah.
pick.
Mm-hmm. That would make sense.
I just think, Bradley Beal, he's still pretty young.
Yeah.
and he deserves to be an all-star. So
I think Bradley Beal is a top 15 player in the NBA.
I think he's a great player. He's one of my favorite to watch. So
yeah, that would be. I can see that. Yeah, for sure. You having to give up more. Washington, though, if Bradley Beal forces a trade, if he's saying I want out of here, getting Levert and Dinwiddie in return honestly doesn't sound that bad. Trying to build something new, but yeah. Regardless, Jacob, did you have any thoughts on that one?
I kind of have the same. Like I like it because I'd like to see it more than I think it would happen. Because if he really is doubling down on this, I want to stay, then I don't think that trade would I think saying that's like a force out, like he decides, you know what, I'm done. That's a trade that I would happily take in that standpoint. But I wouldn't want, a team would have to offer something better if he wants to stay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
Like if he's ready to be done and he's like, I'm not coming back when I go to resign and whenever, then yeah, that's a great deal for him. But if you're not shopping him, but somebody would have to offer a pretty sweet deal if he would want to stay anyway.
I think he's staying.
Yeah, that was a wordy way of agreeing with you. So,
and as I guess as we'll find out later on in this, I actually like a different trade even more for the Nets from the Nets' perspective, to trade for another guy to pair alongside Kyrie and KD. So, but we'll get to that in a little bit. The second Bradley Beal trade I have is to the Heat, where he would wear the jersey number 2 probably because number 3 is Dwayne Wade's, obviously, and 23 is also retired there, and I think that's what Beal wore at Florida. Anyways, if he would go there, I think that the Heat would have to give up Iguodala, Kelly Olynyk, Tyler Hero, and a first-round pick.
I don't think they'd do it. I like
who?
The Heat.
Really?
Really? I would, if I was the Heat, if I was Pat Riley, I would accept it in a heartbeat.
Why?
Bradley Beal?
Because you just made the finals, and
then you gut your whole Okay, let's look at the guys in the finals that stepped up for him outside of Jimmy Butler. Tyler Hero. Kelly Olynyk, as weird as it sounds.
in the finals, Tyler Hero didn't have a great series, but
In the we'll just go playoffs in general.
Okay.
Those are the guys that stepped up and played. Because you said Hero, Olynyk, and who else?
Iggy.
Is that the only other guy?
Yeah, that's really more so to just make the contracts work, and then there's a first round pick.
And do you know that Jimmy Butler and can Bradley Beal handle Jimmy Butler, because a lot of other people can't? You know what I mean?
I think Bradley Beal's a gamer.
I do too, yeah.
I think that they'd get along.
I think he is, and I agree. I'm just saying I don't think that you just take that in a heartbeat.
Also, stylistically, that's such a great pairing. At least for me. Like that sounds so amazing. Putting Jimmy Butler and Bradley Beal next to each other. I get, Tyler Hero has a future, but his stock.
Bradley Beal's only 26.
Yeah, and Tyler Hero's stock is really high right now. You can get this deal done. Hero is a guy. I feel like if I'm the Wizards and I'm shopping Bradley Beal, Hero is a guy that I'm like, yeah, that's a guy that I'd take, because if I'm moving into rebuilding, Hero is a perfect thing for me to take and try to see what he can become.
It's not the Wizards half; it's the Heat half for me. I just don't know.
I don't know, man. If I was Pat Riley, I'm thinking,
who do they have play the Kelly Olynyk minutes then?
Myers Leonard.
Oh, I forgot he was hurt. Yeah, they don't need Kelly Olynyk. Yeah, that makes sense. I forget when people are hurt. No, Myers Leonard wasn't hurt. Yes,
he wasn't. I mean, he was hurt at the beginning, I think, of the playoffs, but then he wasn't after that. They just were playing Kelly Olynyk because he was on fire. Also,
yes.
Kelly Olynyk is a little bit more agile on defense than Myers Leonard is. He's more slow-footed, but yeah.
I think they could find someone in free agency who could.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Play as well as Kelly Olynyk and probably more consistent during the season.
If you're trying to go get Giannis next offseason and you have Bradley Beal under contract for another year, Butler under contract for another couple years.
Yeah.
And I feel like you still have that cap space because this isn't putting you over at all. That would be such an enticing place, a landing spot for Giannis. I think even more so than if you were to not make this trade for Beal.
Yeah.
Because then Giannis goes from getting no other help in late game situations to getting two guys that are very good options for that. So
arguably better than him.
I would say both of them I'd take over Giannis in terms of
if you need a three,
scoring
both of
down
them
the stretch.
Are way ahead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Proven, I guess. I'm not saying Giannis doesn't have it, but
yeah, Giannis is a guy that can score at will for for most of the game, but down the stretch is hard for him to create because he has such a specific way to get to the rim and score. And it's hard for him to beat an entire team trying to stop that on the final possession. He thrives more in the open court. So I feel like that's just a good situation. I like that Heat trade a lot. But this next trade is one that I like. I don't know if I like it more, but it's something that's interesting, and I just want to see what Anthony's thoughts were on it. And that's Bradley Beal straight up for Ben Simmons. Nothing else. Who do you think says no?
I think I personally would say yes.
I just think as Daryl Morey?
Yeah. But I think they want Simmons and Embiid to work together just because to make their
but wait, just a second. Let me ask this. Okay, I'm Tommy Shepard, GM of the Wizards. I'm calling you Daryl Morey, and I'm saying right now I will give you Bradley Beal for Ben Simmons. What are you saying?
I would take it. I would definitely take it.
Okay. I feel like if that trade was just like given to him, there's no way he's gonna go with that crap of like, we're gonna give it one more year. We're gonna see if they become something.
I think he would try to get more, just because of how Daryl Morey is.
Yeah.
Does he have the footing to get more? He has the footing to give more.
I mean he can definitely negotiate. Yeah, I just don't. I feel like Shepard's gonna be like, I'm giving you Bradley freaking Beal. Like Ben Simmons, he could become something really good, and he also already is one of the best defenders in the league, and a guy that is very enticing to build around. But I know how much you want this trade, and so he has that kind of leverage. I feel like.
I don't think you can get anything else out of that trade as Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I don't think you can ask for, what do you ask for? Some bum that's going to ride the bench? You can't ask for a first-round pick. Do you really want to fight for a second round? And even then, I'd say no. Granted, I can't Ben Simmons I am a hater, whatever. But, I don't know what about that is, if I'm the Wizards, I feel like you're getting robbed at gunpoint. Maybe not that.
Really?
Bad. Maybe not that bad.
That you think this is a bad trade for the Wizards?
Yes. No. Yes. You're getting a guy that could potentially be good, but how old is Ben Simmons?
23. Right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
I think so. He's very young.
And Bradley Beal is
26.
26. So for 3 years. Bradley Beal's already a top 15 player in the league, has the late game down the stretch that you need.
Ben Simmons, I don't think is that far behind though. I think Ben Simmons is top 20.
He's not that far behind. Ben Simmons at full strength is a very good player, Jacob.
Yeah.
Hate to break it to you.
You guys want to know a fun secret? He's never been full strength because he can't stay healthy. I got a trade for you. Gordon Hayward, Carson Edwards, 2 first rounds. Celtics get Bradley Beal. Hang up the phone. Good day, boys. Just
you
kidding.
said Carson Edwards, Gordon Hayward, who?
The Grizzlies' first round pick that we have, and then our first round pick.
I think that is. Let's see. Carson Edwards.
Another first round pick. We have a lot of them this year.
That's true. You guys do have a lot of picks.
It's 3.
Maybe. Yeah.
Anyway, we can get back to the Sixers.
I could throw that.
Bradley Beal doesn't get hurt. And maybe I value that too much because every team I don't like always has somebody that gets hurt on the other side that I can just laugh at. So maybe I overvalue like durability. But like I look at Bradley Beal as like kind of the same thing, Kemba. Like you'll see when Bradley Beal leaves how bad that Wizards team is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
Well, you're talking about Ben Simmons getting hurt all the time, but what other season has he, besides missing his rookie year?
Yeah, I was going to say.
He
Ben
really
Simmons has...
Yeah, he did a really nice job in the playoffs this year. Forehead. That was the easiest thing to remember ever.
Yes.
No, but
yes,
those are the only two.
There. But we're not, I'm talking about like, you're saying that he's injury prone.
Is this his what?
But
he got drafted in 16? So right now he's batting 75% being healthy. If I'm paying somebody
17.
millions of dollars, well, he got drafted in 17, so his first season playing was 18.
No, he got drafted 16.
No, he got drafted 17. That was the
16.
Right? Oh yeah,
I thought he got drafted 16, played in 17.
Yeah, no, it was 16. It was the Jamal Murray draft. Yeah.
And it's not
17
just like
was Tatum.
It's not just season ending. It's just you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of times where he'll miss 2 games or 1 game here. Like, that adds up.
I don't know. I don't think Ben Simmons.
I don't think he
hasn't really struggled with like day-to-day injuries a lot. It's really been 2 big ones that have happened. But regardless, I think in the eye of most rebuilding GMs in this league, Ben Simmons is a super enticing thing to build around.
I don't think that you could just. I would want as like if I'm giving them, I'd ask for Ben Simmons in like a first or Ben Simmons in.
Okay, yeah,
I'd
just
go Ben
like,
Simmons in a first.
I just love this trade.
I don't think
straight up
we would take that then.
I something about me just really likes straight up trades. I just wish they happen more often. Just like swap a player for a player. And I think this is one of the rare ones that just helps both sides so much. Like it's just I feel like it's such a great trade for both teams.
You got me. I thought Ben Simmons got injured a lot more than he did. I apologize.
That's okay. I think you're projecting a little bit of Joel Embiid onto Ben Simmons too.
Because he missed 4 last year, only 1 his rookie year, and then obviously this year it looks like he missed a ton, but he didn't. Well, he did, but like there wasn't 82 games to play, so
he missed like 14 or 15 total, I think.
And one of those was the Nuggets-Sixers game that we went to, unfortunately.
Sadly.
That also probably messes with my brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Was it his knee this time though? Again?
It wasn't a terrible injury though. It was something with like
his back,
his cartilage.
I thought it was his knee.
The end of the season, it was his knee. But before COVID, he had like some sort of nerve problem in his back.
Yeah.
That went away, but it wasn't like a scary injury with his knee. It's just something probably he wanted to just take care of it as soon as possible, but he'll be fine. So.
Yeah.
Embiid's, you're probably right, Logan. I'm probably just combining them both in my head.
Yeah. Anyways, so we'll move on to a couple others. Actually, before we do that, we just Anthony, say like 10 seconds worth of how you feel about the Sixers hiring Daryl Morey, because we haven't talked about that on a podcast yet.
Oh, very exciting. I'm excited for this free agency. I just want to see how it goes. I think Daryl Morey is going to kind of control Elton Brand and like look over his shoulder, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, for sure.
Just keep everything intact. So I'm feeling good about the front office, and we also got a ton of good assistant coaching hires.
I agree.
Sam Cassell, right?
Sam Cassell, yeah.
Sam Cassell, yep, who was projected to be head coach this year.
Yeah, with the Rockets.
Is going to be an assistant, so I'm very excited with that. And then the defensive coach from the Pacers, I can't quite remember his name, but I mean,
I
I've
think I
heard
know
it.
who you're talking about.
He's
Mhm.
been very good. I mean, I always think of Pacers as a solid defensive team. So,
Yeah.
but no, I'm excited to see what's gonna happen. For sure.
Yeah, no, I
Think there's a
agree.
lot of potential.
I think Morey will be making the bulk of the decisions there, and I think that's a good thing. But yeah, that was a very surprising hire, but it also was something that I called. I just want to point out.
Did you?
I did text that. I texted that to you guys in our group text like October 15th.
And Anthony said no.
No, I don't think you guys said anything. It kind of just was like you guys ignored it.
I think it was just random.
Yeah.
No, that
well,
was
it
when you were
'cause-
saying getting James Harden because he didn't want to become the Philadelphia Rockets, is what he said.
Actually, no. That was that conversation happened after they hired Morey. I'm pretty sure.
Yep, it was because that was on the 28th of October.
But
I'm going back and
on-
looking.
yeah, back on the 15th. Yeah, I said you guys should hire Morey too because it was after Anthony got excited that Dave Yeager got hired.
I
as
totally forgot about Dave Yeager. What the heck?
joining the Doc Rivers staff, and I said you guys should hire Morey too, and you guys didn't say anything.
Why would I say something? That's directed at Anthony.
Yeah, no, that's true. But
I don't think I saw this.
yeah, I know I
honestly.
said that, and that was I think before Morey even stepped down too.
I'll go check.
It might have been. It might have not been. I don't know.
I
but
will go
Really?
look.
because I was thinking at the time, I was like, Rockets are falling apart. You could probably hire Daryl Morey away from the Rockets, and I just was thinking that'd be cool. But yeah. Anyways, it happened. So I just thought I would share that because
No, you called it.
yeah.
No, it was honestly awesome.
He stepped down the next day.
Really?
Jeez.
He stepped down the 16th.
Wow.
Or he said he was stepping down the 16th and then did the first officially. That's hilarious, though.
Wow, bro, I called that.
Well, that's
All right.
actually also wild that he technically... Because when did the Sixers hire him?
Just
Like a few days, like a week later, not even.
So
week,
it's like, I
feel
guess he technically wasn't the Sixers... part of the Sixers staff until the 2nd.
Yeah.
Or the 1st of November. That's weird. Anyway.
Anyways, so the next. Wait, did I? Yeah, I already shared all the Beal trades. So the next guy I have on here is Drew Holiday, which is a guy that I 100% believe is getting traded even before the start of the season. I shouldn't say 100%. Nothing's 100%, but I'm like 90, at least 96, 97%. That Drew Holiday is going to be moved, especially with the news that has come out that the David Griffin and the Pelicans front office are openly shopping Drew Holiday. Usually when a report comes out like that around a star or somebody of Drew Holiday's caliber, it doesn't end in them not being moved.
Yep.
Yeah, I think a great trade. This is my favorite one by far, so I want to share it at the top. And that was something that was similar with – so it is to the Nets. It's the one I was talking about before that I really like for the Nets. And that is Karis LeVert, Joe Harris, I don't know how to say his first name, Rodions, Kurucs, and a pick for Drew Holiday and J.J. Redick. What do you guys think of that one?
I'm sorry. I googled Drew Holiday trade, and then I clicked on one and it just gave me absolute aneurysms. Can you say the people again?
Yeah, so the Nets would give up Karis LeVert
Okay.
and Joe Harris,
Okay.
and then a young guy named Kurucs, who's like
Yep, I know Kurucs, okay.
young. Okay,
Yep.
and then a first-round pick for Holiday and Redick.
Oh, wow. Honestly?
I don't think the Nets would have to give up that much. I don't think they would have to give up Kurucs.
I think Drew Holiday is one of the guys that slept on how good he is, or how valued he is.
And also, yeah, I agree. And also the Nets with Drew Holiday as their third guy. Like, I can't think of a more
Yeah.
perfect third star for the Nets than Drew Holiday. It's like
That's fair.
It's such a perfect situation for him because it's like you've got the two high caliber like shot creating stars in KD and Kyrie. Drew Holiday can just like relax and do the thing that he loves to do, which is just be a grinder on defense. And then also, handle the ball when he needs to. But like, I think that's such a great situation for Holiday to be in a winning type format. And also, I don't know if you guys know this, but out of all 6'4" and below people, nobody has guarded more 6'8" and above people the past 3 seasons than Drew Holiday.
How sure are you of that?
100%.
How
Marcus
tall
Smart
is
is second.
Oh, dang it. That was my next guess. How close is it?
Yeah. But Holiday, just because of the personnel on the Pelicans, whenever they went up against Golden State in the playoffs, and whenever they played, LeBron in the regular season, Holiday was always guarding LeBron, always guarding KD, those types of guys. Like, it's crazy that he was able to do as much damage as he did, being, a 6'4" guard guarding those guys. And in series where we saw him completely, literally like win a series based on his defensive matchup, was in that Portland series against Damian Lillard, where they swept them as the lower seed. That was a huge deal. But yeah, when Drew Holiday gets to focus on guarding the best guard on another team, that's going to be a great situation for him. And I feel like the personnel with the Nets fits with that well. So.
Okay, I've got a trade if Anthony doesn't have anything to say. This is the trade that made me want to die.
Yeah.
Okay, and maybe it's because this person the trade is between the Pacers, the Pelicans, and the Celtics, the 3-way trade.
Okay.
So I'll start with the Pacers. The Pacers would get Gordon Hayward and then the 26th pick and the 30th pick. The Celtics would get Drew Holiday, Jeremy Lamb, and Doug McDermott. And the Pelicans would get Marcus Smart and Miles Turner. So what I understand is the Celtics are giving away Marcus Smart and Gordon Hayward and 2 draft picks to turn it into Jeremy Lamb, Doug McDermott, and Drew Holiday. What?
I honestly don't hate that for the Celtics.
The reason because if you look at it, Marcus Smart, Drew Holiday, let's say one of those picks balances that part of the trade out. Let's just pretend that's how that works.
Yeah.
So then virtually...
Wait. Say that again?
Marcus Smart and one of the picks equals Drew Holiday.
I think Drew Holiday is more... he's more than a pick better than Marcus Smart.
Okay, and this is, I think, because I have a clouded judgment. I've never bought an NBA jersey in my life, but I bought one. It's Marcus Smart.
Yeah. I honestly think Drew Holiday...
Is it because of my judgment's clouded?
Maybe. I think Drew Holiday is as good... They're as good as each other defensively. If you want to put them equal defensively, I'm good with that. Drew Holiday is a much better
offensive
initiator on offense,
okay.
I think, than Marcus Smart is.
I just want us to have the same team, but replace Daniel Tice with Miles Turner. We'd be so good. I don't pay enough attention to basketball. I just want and dream.
That'd be good.
And pray.
Yeah.
This was also made by a Pelicans. The Pelicans get Marcus Smart and Miles Turner.
Yeah, not bad for giving up Drew Holiday and what? Just Drew Holiday? Just
Drew Holiday.
Yeah, that's not bad. I think that is a more equal trade than
maybe
Marcus Smart and a pick.
I still even undervalue Drew Holiday. Jeez Louise. I thought he was like, if this was 2K, he's like a 3.5 star, not a gosh darn 6 star. Anyway.
Drew Holiday also joined his brother, Aaron.
Oh, yeah.
If he goes to the Pacers.
And Justin.
Oh, yeah,
Justin's
they're both on
That'd
that.
be wild.
Well, Justin is a free agent this season.
He'll come back if it's brotherly love.
Yeah.
Dude,
they'll replace
that'd be
Philadelphia.
insane. I kind of want it to happen.
Yeah.
That's like something you do on, 2K, just to see it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Anyways, for that Nets pick, the other reason why I really like that Nets trade, the other reason I really like it is because Redick goes to a winning situation. I'd like to see Redick win a championship, or at least get there again. I like Redick as just a dude, so
yeah,
that'd be cool. Anyways, so my next trade scenario for Drew Holiday is one that I'd personally like to see for selfish reasons. not as much as the basketball reasons like the last trade was. And this trade is to the Denver Nuggets. And this one has actually been gaining a lot of traction, this exact trade scenario. I've seen a lot of stuff about it in articles and stuff that apparently there's talks of it. So let's hope it happens. But the Pelicans are moving the same thing as last trade, so they're giving up Holiday and Redick to Denver for Gary Harris, Will Barton, Bull, and a first-round pick. What do you guys think of that one?
Okay, hold on. Can you say it again? I gotta think.
Gary Harris,
Okay.
Will Barton,
Yeah.
Bull,
Okay.
and a first-round pick.
For just straight up?
For Holiday and Redick.
Oh, Redick. Okay, I missed the Redick part. I was like, that's a lot for Drew Holiday.
I like it.
Yeah.
Honestly?
I think it's a good
That'd
trade.
be pretty fun to see.
Mm-hmm.
You gain defense, but you also lose defense. You gain 3-point shooting.
Yeah. I like
still
it
feel
because
like the Nuggets still have the same problems they had before.
with that,
Yes.
what's that?
Where the Nuggets have a great offensive set and a great defensive set, but for some reason they've never been able to have them be on the court at the same time.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Well, I guess Will Barton wasn't. We've had this conversation before, but Will Barton wasn't included in there because he didn't play in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I think Will Barton would be the closest thing to that. If not him, then probably like Jeremy Grant. Gary Harris from 2017 would be the surefire choice for that, but he hasn't played offense since 2017.
Yeah.
So, what I like about it is you get Drew Holiday, which I think is what Gary Harris provides for us on the defensive end, but even better, and then offensively, obviously much better. And then you're getting Redick, who is providing the much needed shooting that Jokic's skill set has been begging for to be built around him. Just getting some reliable people to knock down shots that he kicks it out to. Michael Porter Jr. has really been the closest thing to that he's had his whole career now, and also Bubble Jamal Murray. So hopefully those two can keep doing that if this trade doesn't happen. But I would love to get a guy like Redick to just put in there to make some shots in the middle of the game. So that'd be cool.
I'm tracking now.
Okay, and then my next one, this one is a quick one. It's just Drew for Harrell and Shamet to the Clippers.
I'd take it.
For the Clippers?
Both sides, I think. Honestly.
Yeah.
It makes them better. Same reason the Chris Paul trade makes them better. It solves their problem of what big man to put in at the end of the game. Defensively, I think it helps them. Having that good of a defensive, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it too.
Shamet's a young guy, but he's not young enough where I'm he's not good enough where I'm oh man, that guy, he's going to be the next Bradley Beal.
Yeah.
But he's
but he's a shooter that would fit in super well in New Orleans, I feel like.
Yeah. Like JJ Redick, but wouldn't get mad at guys for making him miss the playoffs.
Yeah.
I like that one, actually.
And I actually had 4 trades for Drew.
Okay.
Just because I'm really interested in Drew. But this is the last one, and it's the Pacers for Miles Turner, Doug McDermott, and a first-round pick.
Oh my goodness, dude. You and this guy from Fan-Sided Pelican Debrief are on the same page. He just tainted my Celtics with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Okay. Miles Turner. I don't want to be anywhere but Boston, but that's beside the point.
But he's a center that would fit well
Yes.
with Zion, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, it would work. It's a good trade, I think. Yeah. It definitely is. Now that I really
and
think about
McDermott would be what they brought over. What's his name? Nicola Melli. That 29-year-old rookie that they had from Italy this year on the Pelicans. I think McDermott is a version of that they could use. But just a tall shooter. Like a Davis Bertans, but not as good as Bertans.
I miss Mirotic.
Yeah, and Mirotic.
He was fun to watch. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like, he was a good player.
Also, he's like the best, I think, front court mate in terms of like stylistically wise, like fitting wise, with Anthony Davis. Like Anthony Davis obviously had Boogie with him, and they were dominant. But when you put Nikola Mirotic next to Anthony Davis in the front court, that's just such a good pairing.
It's just so weird.
Yeah. I like it.
It's great, but it's so weird.
Yeah. Okay, so this is actually one of my favorite. This next player is one of my favorite players to talk about this for, just because there hasn't been like hardly any buzz around him for trades, but I just want to see him moved so bad, and that is Kevin Love. And so I have two trade scenarios for this. The first one being to Portland, which is his hometown. He'd go back home. For the 16th pick in this year's draft, Zach Collins, Nasir Little, and Trevor Ariza for Kevin Love and Kevin Love and the 5th pick in this year's draft.
That's a big part. Okay. Well, because I was like, that's a lot for Kevin Love. Like maybe like 2016 Kevin Love, but old boy Kevin Love isn't quite the same.
Yeah, I know. Kevin Love and the 5th pick in the draft. Yeah.
Okay. Zach Collins, I like.
I think Nasir Little provides,
it
a nice wing
on
with upstand.
Problem. Nasir Little helps their problem a little bit.
Yeah. For their wing.
How they
depth.
literally only do wing. They only have point guards and centers
and
that
big
are
men.
big. They don't have a middle, which is like actually the opposite of most teams' problems. But.
Mm-hmm.
I might take that actually. No.
And Trevor Ariza.
This in a normal draft, maybe. This draft, I don't know if I want a high pick.
The 5th pick for the Cavs, the 5th pick for the Blazers though in this draft would be very valuable in my opinion, just because they really need forward/wing depth, like a 3-and-D guy.
Yeah.
And Devin Vassell would be such a good pick there. Some like Sadiq Bey, another guy. That's a little high for Sadiq Bey though at 5.
But you package it and go down 2 picks with, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Isaac Okoro is another guy, 3-and-D guy that mainly D for him, but yeah. I think that would be a pretty good move on Portland's end. Also, I just like seeing guys go to their home cities.
Yeah.
Especially late in their careers. But yeah, also Trevor Ariza is just thrown in that trade mainly to get the salaries to work because he gets paid a lot more than Zach Collins and Nasir Little do.
Yeah.
All right, and so this next one though, this next trade scenario for, actually Anthony, what did you think of that one?
I thought it was a good trade. I liked it. I mean, I think both are getting what they need, so can't really go wrong.
Yeah. Nice. And so this next Love trade is definitely my favorite. Might be my favorite top 2 for sure on this whole list. And something that you might like too, Anthony. It's to the Sixers for Tobias Harris, straight up. Who says no?
Say that one more time.
Kevin Love for Tobias Harris. Nothing else.
No.
No for the Sixers?
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say this. For this trade to happen, for me to feel good about it, the Sixers would also have to make the Buddy Hield trade with Horford. So assuming they send Horford to Sacramento for Buddy Hield, however they get that done, they do it. So now they have Buddy Hield, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, Josh Richardson. So trading Tobias Harris for Kevin Love gets you, I think, exactly what they wanted Al Horford to be for them all season long. They get that. They get what they needed him to be for them to be good. And that is a guy that, at this stage in his career, as good of a shooter he is a guy that can just fit into a role of just like throwing up 6 to 9 threes per game. and playing the backup center minutes that you need him to. Not kind of fitting into that role at this stage of his career really well. And he's a guy that had to do it in Cleveland. And I think a guy that really could do it with the Sixers. Provides a lot more spot-up shooting than anywhere else on the roster other than now with Buddy Hield. And I think that'd be good for them and great for them actually trying to build competently around Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. And Tobias Harris to the Cavs, I think, is good for them because, they go down in age trying to rebuild. And he fits right into, their talent if the Cavs have any talent to begin with. But their gap, really, in a way, where they're missing star power, I should say. But I think Tobias Harris would fit in at least as good as you can with the Cavs. So I like that trade personally, but
the way you put it there was definitely a lot better. Just, like with getting Buddy Hield first.
Yeah.
I mean, I would accept it, but it's another case of Doc Rivers really liking Tobias Harris. I
so
don't
do
see.
Do they have this sort of like bromance where they?
I feel like they have a bond. I mean, Tobias Harris played his best basketball under Doc Rivers.
I think that was more than just because it was Doc Rivers, but yeah.
Yeah, fair. Okay.
But that's just my take on it. I mean,
that makes. I'm with you on that. I get that. Like the exact opposite reason why like Popovich wouldn't have went out to LA because, like, he might not like players. A player might not leave Philly because Rivers likes him a lot.
Yeah, I mean it also is under Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers was his coach in LA, and they traded him away from LA. So
that's true.
Yeah, I guess who knows? I really like that trade a lot. And this brings us to our last player on here, and that's Rudy Gobert. And so one of the trades that I made for him is to the Dallas Mavericks.
Okay.
And I like this one a lot. Actually, wait. I don't know if I like this one actually as much as I thought just a second ago after reading it again. But we'll see what you guys think about it. So it's Gobert and Conley's expiring.
Yep.
For Kristaps Porzingis.
Okay.
Tim Hardaway Jr. What's his name? Delon Wright and Willie Cauley-Stein. What do you think of that one?
I do not like that trade.
Really?
One bit.
So
I feel like the Mavericks are giving up way too much.
For Gobert and Conley. Oh yeah, I forget who I'm talking to. You're a guy that's super low on Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert alongside Donovan Mitchell, or not Donovan Mitchell, Luka Doncic.
It's gross.
That would be amazing.
That would be so gross. As in like a positive thing. Like it would just
That's
work.
like offensively, that's the best scenario possible for Rudy Gobert. Defensively, he's a one-man defense. He's the only guy in the NBA who's an active player in the NBA that every single season of his career, his team has been a top 10 defense.
And that's not because of the... It is because it's not just him, but like he's a huge part of that.
Yeah. Massive part of that. So I don't know. I like that a lot for the Mavericks. And they're also getting Mike Conley, who is, I think, still has production left to give, and somebody that can provide, some to kind of ease Luka Doncic's ball handling responsibilities. So, he's a guy that can be your secondary ball handler in the offense and hit spot up threes, which is something that Mike Conley is really good at this age. I think he would fit really well into the Maverick system. And he's also a veteran leader that would be good with this team. And also you're getting rid of Kristaps Porzingis's like trade or injury concerns that a lot of people have been pretty worried about for him. Obviously KP has a chance to become a really, really special player, and he already has to an extent, but I think getting a guy like Gobert and also Conley, who's on an expiring deal, which is another really good asset to have, that I think is just it's a good situation. I don't know if I would say like it's an amazing trade for them, but I think it's a fair trade for them for what they're giving up. How would you tweak it at all in any way, Anthony, if you think that they're giving up too much?
It sounds better after you going through it.
Yeah.
Again. I just feel like they're giving away a lot with like Tim Hardaway and DeLon Wright, because DeLon Wright's also very solid, as well as Tim Hardaway. I mean, I feel like that trade could work even like without giving away one of those players.
Yeah. I think contract-wise it probably wouldn't, but...
You think so? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, like, just in terms of money, but if you replace it with another contract of somebody that's not as good, that's... Yeah. I don't know. I think... I don't know. People are kind of different on Tim Hardaway. Some people are really low on him, and some people are really high on him. Like, compared to each other, he's a guy that is pretty polarizing. I feel like a lot of people think he's trash, and some people think that those numbers that he had for the Knicks in that one season were, like, real. But, yeah. I think that he's, essentially what he is just like a 3-and-D-ish wing on a pretty good team. So, and I think Utah, it would be a good piece to move to Utah, but I get what you're saying. I think that he fits in well with the Mavericks as well. So, anyways, next trade, there's only two more. This next trade is Eric Gordon. So this is to the Rockets, and so it's just Gobert for Eric Gordon, Nerlens Noel, assuming that they sign him, which is there's a lot of talk about that happening. Ben McLemore, and a first-round pick.
I feel like I wouldn't want that as the Jazz, because yes, you get a lot, but you're also paying a lot.
Yeah.
Because Eric Gordon's isn't expiring, is it?
I don't think so. I don't think it is.
And he's the best player of the trade, but he's also the biggest, I don't know if I want to pay a guy that much to have, a glorified seventh man role. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, true that.
That's my only thing. Because what is he?
Yeah.
He's not playing shooting guard. He's not playing small forward. He's just going to be part of the second unit, and that's a lot of money to give to a guy on the second unit.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I don't really like this trade either. I made this a couple weeks ago now, or a week and a half ago now, and yeah, this one did not age well for me. I think along the lines of what I was thinking is, the Jazz get back Nerlens Noel, which is a very, very light version of what
great value
you're
great
getting
value,
from Gobert.
Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, but I guess. What you're getting beyond that, though, is Eric Gordon, Ben McLemore, first-round pick from the Rockets, which actually could be really good if the Rockets are blowing it up completely.
Yeah.
I don't really know why, though, the Rockets would want Gobert.
If they're blowing it up, yeah.
Yeah. Also, if they're keeping, I don't know, him and Westbrook together would just be weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't my best moment.
It's okay.
For sure.
You've had a lot of bangers.
Okay, so this last one hopefully can redeem me a little bit. Yeah, okay, so it's Rudy Gobert for Montrezl Harrell and Ivica Zubac. Straight up.
Both of them? Okay.
Yeah.
And that means the Jazz would have...
I kind of like this one, not going to lie.
Okay.
I forgot about this one, but I like it. For both sides.
Actually, no, I like that. I really do. Because you get another light Gobert, But you just expand.
Zubats or
Yeah. Because who is their backup center?
for the Jazz?
Yeah.
Ed Davis.
See, like, that's an instant upgrade just in Montrezl Harrell. Even if you have a mostly play power forward. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, I liked it a lot.
I do like it.
Just because, there's been lots of talks of Gobert getting moved from Utah just because he thinks he needs more touches offensively in their system, which Rudy Gobert does not have any offensive talent except for when he's paired with a guy who can throw the ball to him right next to the rim.
Yeah.
That's really where Rudy Gobert's offensive talent comes from. So I think him going to the Clippers, and just buying in as being their rim protector and roll man and pick and roll at some points, and just basically letting Kawhi and Paul George obviously carry the offense. I think that'd just be a great role for Gobert, where we see him utilize, not as good as Dallas, because with Dallas, he's like completely optimizing his skill set on both ends.
It's like how we talked about, like, you talk about LeBron and AD have like the best pick and roll duo that like in history that you could put together.
That would be the next, like, LeBron and AD.
Yeah, but then like Gobert and Luka would work so well, but it would also double to the defensive side, how he could just kind of exist and make Luka better at defense. Yeah,
exactly. So, having a rim protector like that, it just completely changes your defense. Like, Nuggets have such defensive issues because we lack rim protection, and we have to make up for it at every other spot on the floor, staying in front of your man and everything like that. But if you have a guy that's a rim protector as good as Rudy Gobert, who, like, it's just like makes your defense so much easier. Like, you don't need to have as many good defenders on your team, and Dallas already does have good defenders. Like, they have Dorian Finney-Smith is a really good defender on the Mavs. Honestly, Seth Curry is a super good point guard defender.
Yes.
He's shown that in the playoffs a couple years in a row now. But yeah, I think it would be a great fit in Dallas. But with the Clippers, I also like that fit, having him just be the defensive anchor with that Clippers team. And I think it would make the Clippers better. I think that kind of trade would make the Clippers better. And with the Jazz, you're getting rid of his fit issues with Donovan Mitchell in the locker room, at least.
Which I've heard that people think that Donovan Mitchell actually gave it to Rudy Gobert, but that's beside the point.
Oh, yeah. But I've also heard that they've had some problems even stemming back to before then, that they haven't got along very well.
Well, that just was kind of the public outcry or the public showing of it.
Yeah. Yeah, but I guess having Montrezl Harrell and Zubats there in Utah, I think would be a pretty good deal.
No, I totally agree. I think that trade, I think that one might be the most fun. Just in my head, like, the Gobert ones were all really fun. That middle one was a little bit but it's okay.
Yeah.
You already said that one didn't age well with you in your head, so.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. But yeah, I'd say the most fun out of all of these was, like, just from a pure entertainment standpoint, I think it's the Ben Simmons for Bradley Beal.
Yeah, that one or Brad Beal to Miami, I think could be very fun as well.
Oh, yeah, to Miami. Oh, man, that would be... Man, you're reminding me of it again. Just thinking about that just sounds so good.
Yeah. You got any more for us?
No, that's it for the ones I had mocked up. But yeah, in the future, we'll probably come back with some more. Maybe do some free agent talk when we record for basketball again. But yeah, definitely need to do some draft coverage.
Well, I like the idea of live streaming the draft. Drop a like. Oh my goodness, you know what we almost forgot?
Yeah. What is that, Jacob?
We forgot to tell the people to like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment, as well as make fun of me and praise Logan. We forgot both of those things.
And follow the feed on Spotify.
And follow the Spotify feed. And if you like it, share it with your friends. Send that bad boy over to Twitter or something. I don't know. It'll all work out. But yeah, I can't believe we forgot about that. But yeah, be sure to like and comment if you'd like to see us do a live stream of the draft. Because we'll still do it even if nobody shows up. But it'd be a lot cooler if, we saw like 1 instead of 0 in terms of people watching.
Yeah, and we'll probably like upload it as
a video as well.
Yeah. I say we should do that.
But
yeah. So I think that is it. Anthony, did you want to say any words as we're heading out today?
It was great to be on here once again. Had a lot of fun. Hoping to be on the future shows as well. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, as always, thank you guys for listening. Like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. We will talk to you guys next time.
Adios, amigos.